Good morning, everybody. שפע ברכה והצלחה, שיעור לשבחם של הקדושים והטהורים. We have two parashot. אתם ניצבים וילך. Says the parasha, and by the way, ניצבים is always before Rosh Hashanah. And why? אתם ניצבים היום. You are all standing today, everybody, in front of God. ראשיכם, שבטיכם, the heads, the tribes, the elders, the policemen, all is Israel. Everybody. Tapchem, the children, the women, Gercha, the Gerim, Asher Michotev, etc. What is all this description? If you say Kol is Israel, said everybody from Israel, it's everybody. You don't need to have this whole description. And there is another question. When we this is a covenant. Which covenant is this? Last week we read another covenant. Again, what Brit is this and what is it? It's the same Brit. And this is very interesting to understand what we're talking about. First of all, Atem Nitzavim Hayom, says Rashi, one of the things, they heard 100 curses less 2. So 98 curses. And after, listening, I don't want to read it. We read it last week. We see all the curses. Unbelievable, really terrible things. When you read this, what are you going to say? Wow, who can stand in this? Why? What's going to be? How can I come now to Rosh Hashanah? Atem Nitzavim Hayom. Today we're standing right in a week before Rosh Hashanah. What's going to be? What's going to happen? Are we going to be cursed? And we see what's happening around. And it's terrible things are happening, and happen terrible things. So 1 minute. So what is Rashi saying? So Rashi is saying that says, come down. After you heard the stress, Atem said, hey, look, you are not exactly saints. You did a few wrong things. We had Chet Egel, the golden calf. We had the miraculous. We had a lot of things happening in the desert. And with all due respect, you're standing here. So, you see, with all those curses and everything you did wrong, you're still standing here in front of God today. 1 minute. So what does it mean? That all those curses are just for the sake of saying, and they've got no meaning? There is no result? That's like saying, okay, I'm going to hit you. Don't worry, I'm not going. You see, I didn't hit you. What's going on here? Is this a real thing, or is just for the matter of speech? You're going to have this going to happen, this going to happen, but eventually, what is Rashi saying? Atem Nitzavim Hayom. You see, nothing happened. So how are we going to prevent ourselves or to be scared of doing sins if we see that you can sin and do terrible thing and still stand in front of God? And we see when you go on the parasha, yes, there are those who really think that nothing is going to happen to them. Well, we went through last year, 2 years ago, Thursday, I'm not exactly saying we did a few, and nothing happened. So to this year also nothing happened. But we see things do happen. So we have to understand, first of all, what's going on here. All the threats that we read of the curses last week, have their meaning or not? Says Or HaChaim HaKadosh, there are two different britot, there are two different covenants. The covenant, the brit that we talked last week, is the covenant between each one of us as an individual in front of God. And when you stand in front of God alone, you have a problem. Yes, you have a problem. Like we see, if there is somebody that's a rotten root, and he grows, he is going to be punished and get all the curses, like it's written here. I'm going to read it to you. 1 minute. There is a man or a woman or a family or a tribe that his heart goes from God to go and worship idols. You have a rotten root that's going to grow. And he hears this. He says, Shalom Yeli, I'm going to live in peace. Nothing's going to happen to me. You have to understand, God is not going to forgive this guy. Because he also is not only a sinner, he makes others to sin when they see what he's doing. All those curses that are written are going to happen. So now we start to understand that there is something here. Says Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulem, the covenant we're talking today here in our parsha is a different covenant. It's a covenant of Am Yisrael together. That's why the description, Rashechem, Shiftechem, Ziknechem, Shotrechem, everybody. And if you think that you are better than the other, that you are a professor, that you are a great rabbi, and he is just a cleaner or a carpenter or whatever, rich or poor, doesn't matter. Everybody. That's why the description, Rashechem, Shiftechem, Ziknechem, Shotrechem, Kol Israel, everybody. If you don't understand, I'm again, Tapchem, Neshechem, Gercha. Everybody is in this covenant. And what is this covenant? You are standing here for one reason, that you are together. When you all are going to standing, that's when you survive. There is, says the Nizavim Vayelech, there is a world that is called Klal Israel. And this is Ve'amech Kulam Tzadikim. What is Ve'amech Kulam Tzadikim? Everybody is tzaddik? No. If you amech, if you stand together, our power is Beyachad Nenatzeach. Together we will win. But not just saying it, but meaning it, and feeling it, and doing it. When we are together, when we help each other, when we spread love between each other, then we can stand in front of God. But when we go alone, as an individual, then we have a problem. This is something we have to worry about. So this great covenant is telling us that we are all together. And if we are all together, then everything is going to be okay. Still, you have to do tshuva, which is written in the parashat later on. Let me find it out. You will do tshuva, and you will go and come back to God. And you have to understand, it's not far away from you. It's not something extraordinary that you cannot achieve. So here, a lot of the explanation are talking about the Torah, but one of the explanation is, not one, or a few are talking, it's not only the Torah, it's tshuva. We have to understand, what God is telling us is, do tshuva. The Torah is not somewhere in the sky, or in heaven, or somewhere where you cannot reach it. It's close to you, it's in with your mouth. Your mouth and your heart, you can do it. And it reminds me of a story. Somebody was going to Kivrei Tzadikim in near Tzfat. Today is dangerous, don't go, don't try it. And he was going on the way, and on the way, the GPS stopped working. He couldn't make his way. He didn't know what to do, so he stopped and he asked somebody. You go half an hour like this, then you have those turns in the road. You go up the hill, and approximately an hour you get there. And he's doing it. He doesn't see any turns, a few turns, but not like this description. And then it's an hour and a half, 2 hours he's driving, and he's getting nowhere. So he's stopping on the way, and he's asking, "Tell me, what's going on here? I'm going to Tzfat, and Tzfat? You go in the opposite direction. You never get there if you go this direction." No, he started crying. "Oy, what have I done? Oy, boy." So the guy tells him, "Why are you crying? Turn the wheel and go in the right direction. So it's going to take you more time, but turn the wheel. Don't go on in this way and don't stop. Turn the wheel and go in the right direction." That's what God is telling us. Don't worry. You did a mistake. You attempt Nizavim, you're all now here standing. Don't be worried. That's very easy. Just turn the wheel around and go in the right direction. And God will lead you in the right way. Just do the first steps. It also reminds another, I'm talking about, I'm in the furniture business and I'm selling office chairs, and very good for office chairs. Anyway, a few years ago somebody came to me and said the same, it was Chodesh El also, and he had a chair that instead of that swivel backwards and forwards, it was swiveling all sides, angles, right, left, up, boom. Now the warranty was over for a long time. So I didn't have any warranty, no guarantee. So in the beginning I was told, "What does he want?" What? After 10 years he comes to me, "Leave me alone." I said, "What, Chodesh Elul? We have to do good things. It's not only business." And something also we have to keep in mind. You know, some people think business is business and chesed is chesed. And religion is religion, spiritual is spiritual, physical is physical. No. Chesed has to be done all the time. Also in your business, you have to behave like a Jew. Not only when you're davening, when you're praying, when you're giving tzedakah, or when you're doing all the holy things. Also in the daily life, you have to behave like a human being, like a Jew, like the Torah asked you to behave. Anyway, says, I have to help him. I have to try to help him. So says, give me the chair. I turn the chair upside down and I look. And I see that the only problem was that the screws were loose. I took the screwdriver, the electric screwdriver, vish, 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 vish. Finished. Strong as ever. Hey, the guy was so happy. And then I thought to myself, that's exactly the point. What is God telling us? Screw, adjust the screws. Fasten the screws, that's all. Take vish, vish. And everything is okay. That's what God wants us. This is the time to do it. And we have to understand, one of the main problems that we are standing in front is, there is a famous story about Aryeh Levin when he was a young guy, and I think it was in, I don't know when it was, Poland, wherever it was, and he went to learn in the yeshiva. And in those times, it was not like today, that you had a place to, you had the dormitories and you had the dining rooms. No, they had nothing. They had only a bet midrash, where you sit and learn, and you had to find each one of the kids, of the young boys, young lads, had to find every day a place to sleep and a place to eat. And if not, he slept in a bed on the floor or on the bench, whatever. And were good people in the town, and they were doing like every time you were eating somewhere else and sleeping, etc. Anyway, Rabbi Levin went to one of the places, one of the homes, and the Balabai told him, I like you. You stay here. You don't have to look for more places where to eat and where to sleep. I've got this room for you. You eat here, you sleep here, everything is good. Wow, this is unbelievable. A good place, a nice room, good food. Wow. There was one problem, that there were a lot of rows in the house. The husband and the wife were rowing all the time. And Rabbi Levin, as a young fellow also, he didn't like it. It was a very, very, very bad feeling. And an environment not so nice. After a few months, he decided that he cannot handle this anymore. He doesn't want to. He'll go back. He will sleep on the floor, whatever it takes. He cannot. It's a very hard decision. You know, he had here all the best place to sleep, food, good food, and really the Balabaiti liked him. The owner liked him and was giving him the best of the best. But he says, I cannot stand it anymore. So he came to the Rabbi, says, I'm leaving today. Thank you very much for the hospitality and everything. You were very, very good. He says, why are you leaving? You finished learning? You're going back home or something? No, I'm going on learning. So he says, why are you leaving? He says, he didn't know how to say this. He says, you know, I have to tell it to you. You know, you're rhyme all the time, and I don't want to live in an environment of rows and hatreds and so on. It's affecting me, and I don't. He says, I don't understand. He says, you are a few months here. It didn't disturb you. Now you start. Why didn't you leave before? Why didn't you say anything before? He says, you see, listen to the answer. This is exactly the problem. It stopped disturbing me. I got used to it. This is the terrible moment. Look what's happening around us. Look the way we behave. We get used to things. You know, I've been in this wedding. Never mind, I don't want to say so many details. And the girls were dressed, half dressed. And the color also. And then she changed the dresses. And somebody asked me, what dress is she wearing now? I says, don't ask me what she's not wearing. And really, you know, a very good girl, very good family. But this is the atmosphere. We get used to it. They didn't have any intention to be rude or to behave without modesty, because this is the level where we are today. Look how people were dressed 50 years ago, now they're dressed today. Look what's happening around us. Look at the singers and all the entertainments. Like they're half naked on the stage. Why? I want to hear her singing. I don't need to see her body. And this is things that we're getting used, and it stopped disturbing us. You know, I read you once a letter that was written, I think, 70 years ago, that the letter was saying we want people to stop walking around with a bathing suit near this, it was in Tel Aviv, near the beach. Only in the beach you're allowed to go with a bathing suit, and keep modesty, and a lot of a few other things. And you know who wrote this? Somebody will read the letter, will think that Turei Karta, the ultra-Orthodox Haredim wrote it. No, it was the Iriyat Tel Aviv. They were writing it, the Moatzah, the Iriyah, the municipality, the people who had nothing to do with religion. But we had a level of modesty. You don't walk in the street half naked, not with a bathing suit. And today, look around. We're getting used. And that's what Rabbi Levin says. The problem is when we're getting used. We have to get away. Be aware. As David HaMelech says, one thing I'm asking God. I want to sit in the house of God all my days, all my life. To see the glory of God. You know what לבקר בהיכלו? לבקר is from ביקורת, to criticize, that I have the power to criticize what I'm doing. Sometimes, you know, it starts with a small thing, and it goes and grows and grows. So we have to look at the small details. And because the most terrible thing is that we get used to things and then it grows and grows and grows. When we look at the street today and we take pictures from 100 years ago, you will see the difference. And by the way, if you think it's primitive, last week I talked about the Queen of England. Look at her pictures. If you haven't got the crown and the title, you will think this is a lady from Mea Shearim, from an ultra-Orthodox family. Look how she was dressed. So being modest, dress in an honorable way, it's not primitive. It's glory. It's queen. It's a king. It's being a king and a queen. It's royalty. But, as we say, we have to be aware of what's happening around us. Atem Nizavim Hayom. We are standing here. So first of all, together. But with this togetherness, we have to be aware, and from those among us that take a step to the wrong way. And from them, we have to get away. And don't get used. We shouldn't get used to what's happening around us, all the corruption. And I'm talking generally speaking. From all sides, from all fields. If it's the spiritual field, if it's the physical field. Things that we didn't dare to do years ago, today, we are used to it. And this is the point. We have to criticize ourselves and take a step back and go in the right way. Turn the wheel. Turn the wheel. Fasten the screws. And be aware, together, with the right direction. Atem Nizavim, we can all stand in front of God and tell Him, here, we turn the wheel. We're going in the right direction, God. Please save us and give us a beautiful year with no wars, with peace and prosperous, from the spiritual side and from the physical side. All the best.